Well, we won another one, gang. Another company flirting with wokeness has come to its senses. Hey, gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, and we're going to see the latest win for Patriot consumers who've had enough of all of this woke nonsense and have learned to effectively fight back. You're going to love this. Miller Lite, in the shadow of Bud Light's catastrophe, is currently proving itself to be perhaps the single dumbest brand on the planet. Their woke marketing team demonstrated just how incoherent, how utterly incompetent wokeness really is by releasing this.
Here's a little known fact. Women were among the very first to brew beer ever. From Mesopotamia to the Middle Ages to colonial America, women were the ones doing the brewing. Centuries later, how did the industry pay homage to the founding mothers of beer? They put us in bikinis. Wow. Look at this wild. It's time beer made it up to women. So today, Miller Lite is on a mission to clean up not just their but the whole beer industry's Miller Lite has been scouring the internet for all this and buying it back so that they can turn it into good for women brewers. Literally, good How, you ask? Ladies, take it away.
First, we turn the bad into compost. Then we feed compost to worms. Push out beautiful fertilizer.
That good helps farmers grow quality hops,
which is then donated to women brewers to make their own really good
But there's definitely more out there. In your attic, in the garage, in your parents' basement. Send any you got into Miller Lite, and they'll turn that into good too. Oh. So here's to women, because without us, there would be no beer.
Now, in total fairness, Miller Lite produced that commercial back in March, a few weeks before the Bud Light Dylan Mulvaney fiasco. But given the visceral reaction against the Dylan Mulvaney ad, the marketing morons over at Miller Lite didn't have sense enough to take their own ad down. And so it got rediscovered. And in a matter of hours, it went far more viral than its original airing. In fact, as far as I know, the original airing was a bust. Nobody gave a silly piece of tripe like that the time of day. But now, in the shadow of the Bud Light catastrophe, now Miller Lite is getting the axe from a number of consumers. Public Square founder and CEO Michael Seifert tweeted out, Miller Lite thinks women are fragile victims. Bud Light doesn't know what a woman is. Is it too much to ask to just brew beer instead of meeting your ESG requirements? Conservative commentator Ian Miles Chong wrote, Miller Lite said to Bud Light, hold my beer, and decided to create a new ad campaign straight out of early 2010s I Hate All Men feminism to sell a drink to customers they hate. Blaze commentator Oran McIntyre said, now, you might be asking yourself, how could they be stupid enough to do this? They just saw what happened to Bud Light, go woke, go broke, right? Well, that's because you still think the purpose of corporations and advertising is to respond to the market instead of engineer it. Well, I'm ecstatic to report that that kind of backlash has successfully pressured Miller Lite to pull the ad. So we won another one, gang. We got Miller Lite to renounce an ad that would have been up in perpetuity. But fully recognizing that Miller Lite had this up before the Bud Light travesty, it still begs the question, what the hell were they thinking to put an ad like that up in the first place? Well, thanks to the Daily Caller, they did a little snooping around on the Miller Lite ad executive, most likely responsible for that feminist campaign. And you're not going to believe what they found. Wait until you see this. But first, gang, I've been talking about how this world is going crazy with supply chain issues, record-setting inflation, sky-high gas prices. We all know how the big box stores were allowed to stay open this whole time while so many little guys, small business owners, regular people, patriots, were forced to close their doors. The wealthiest people on the planet became better off while mom and pop suffered. The question is, what are we willing to do about it? How can our voices be heard? And the answer is simple. We vote with our dollars. That is how we make a difference. And the best part is What if you no longer needed to shop at the big box stores? What if you could get all your needs, your everyday needs, from a family-owned Patriot manufacturer? Wouldn't that be awesome? Well, that's exactly where PatriotSwitch.com comes in. Patriot Switch helps people walk away from the woke corporations by providing a platform to shop factory direct at a family-owned, made-in-America manufacturer. That's why Patriot Switch was created, with regular folks like you and me in mind. Check them out. They're one of us. Go to patriotswitch.com/Turley to make the switch today. Thanks to a little snooping from the Daily Caller, we now have a better idea precisely why Miller Lite would produce a commercial like this in the first place. As it turns out, Sophia Colucci, the chief marketing officer for Molson Coors, the parent company of Miller Lite, has quite the habit of supporting liberal causes such as gun control, George Floyd protests, illegal immigration, and, of course, pro-vaccine propaganda. Now, Colucci apparently recognized that her personal social media was going to get scrutinized, so she apparently deleted much of the evidence, but not before the Daily Caller got the screenshots. Colucci donated and shared a fundraiser on her Facebook page that goes to reuniting migrants with their immigrant families. She also shared another page regarding the Las Vegas shooting, saying members of Congress who received donations from the NRA needed to meet with the victims and implement stricter gun laws. In another post, she praised the Pope for stressing the importance of the COVID-19 vaccine and said people who were reluctant to get the vaccine would hopefully be steered by his actions. Colucci also changed her profile photo to include, "I got my COVID-19 vaccine. We can do this," and shared a post for Miller to buy shirts for the COVID-19 vaccine. She also had Arizona Senator John McCain's concession speech up to former President Barack Obama, and she said, "Wow, amazing," and a reminder of what a true leader does. And after the George Floyd killing, Colucci posted a black square in support of Black Lives Matter and Floyd on Blackout Tuesday to remember George Floyd. So obviously Miller Lite has an incurable woke warrior at their marketing helm, which underscores precisely what we saw with Bud Light. As much as Miller Lite is trying to distance themselves from Bud Light, we can see the exact same pathological divide operative in both. Both Bud Light and Miller Lite evidence a profound and widening gap between the CEO and the customer, between the corporation and the consumer. And what we have to understand is that corporations increasingly exist in what we might call blue state culture. Their headquarters are often in coastal cosmopolitan centers where these corporate officers rub shoulders with the bluest of blue mentalities. In other words, many have lost touch with even being able to relate to their customers, most of whom inhabit red state culture. And so there's a widening gap, a massive chasm opening up between blue state corporatists and red state consumers. But as we could see, as corporations become increasingly woke, consumers are beginning to vociferously rise up and resist these social engineering attempts, and customers are effectively pushing back against these woke campaigns. So the lesson to be learned here is actually very simple. The Bud Light disaster taught red state America how to comprehensively fight back against woke corporations. And so if these corporations have any sense, they'll completely abandon their woke nonsense and get back to serving and celebrating their loyal customers. As always, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. You'll definitely want to check out my latest video on a huge Supreme Court victory for Kari Lake, who's about to prove election fraud in court. You're not going to want to miss it, so make sure to click on that link, and I will see you over there. God bless. Hey gang, if you want to connect with more courageous patriots and start taking action and organizing, be sure to join my Telegram group. I post the latest breaking news I find interesting and chat with my favorite patriots around the country and even the world. Click the link in the description below and join the conversation today.